Hey, hello. This is for the love of dogs and Breyer horses. I'm Raymay.
I'm Ash.
And that's Ace. And that's Musu, and that's Sai, and River's. And River's tucked in there somewhere. It's still very cold in here, so yes. We have a heater going, but it's not really helping. So, if you're new to the channel, we are Breyer horse collectors, and we give our opinions on different models that have come out. We also do unboxings. I would also like to do our opinions on the regular runs for this year. We've had some requests for that, so we'll have to get on that eventually. And yeah, so if you are interested in the model horse hobby, stick around, see what we have to say. Like our videos if you like us. If you don't like us, dislike us. Put in the comments what you like or don't like about our videos. Hit the notification bell so you can get updated on all our videos when they come out. I try to do weekly videos. Doesn't always happen, but I try. Anything else? Like, comment, subscribe, notification bell. I think that's it. So today we're going to talk about the special run models for Breyerfest this year, 2023. Our previous video, we talked about the celebration model and the events table meets
and the ticket types.
And the different types of tickets. So if you missed that video, you might want to go back and check that one if you want our opinions on those. But yes, this time we're going to do the special runs. And if you watched that previous video, it will tell you which ticket prices you can buy these on. I'll talk about it a little bit. So the special run horses are made specifically for Breyerfest
in that year.
For that year. They won't be released again. And in years past, you could only get them if you went in person to the event. And then the year of 2020 hit, and everything went sideways for everybody. And they started doing online events, and then you could virtually attend. And they did that for 2 years. And then last year, they did a virtual event, in-person event hybrid. And they're doing pretty much the same thing this year with a few tweaks here and there. And so, depending on the type of ticket you get, these are ones that you can buy there. Now, special runs with each ticket that you buy with a VIP ticket or a all access ticket. Sorry, my brain is blanking out. With those two different ticket types, you can buy any of the special runs that are available when you go. You're not guaranteed to get the ones that you want, but so long as they have it when you go up to get your ticket, you can get it. Or if they're going to do the ticket booklet again, like they did last year, which I'm not even going to explain because I don't know if that's what they're doing this year or not. So you can watch our previous video that we did on our tickets booklets that we got from last year if you want to know more about that. But as we're going through the special runs, I will tell you which ticket types these are available to, because I did write that down because I was smart, and then give you our opinions on them. So I will try to put the pictures up in the corner. It's an editing feat. That's my phone. I'll let you bring the pictures up on your phone this time. But I will give it a try. Alright, so I'm mostly going to do these in the order that they were released to us. The only one I'm going to wait till the end on is the surprise model. Okay, so the first one that they brought out was, I'm going to say Spios. I believe is how it is pronounced. It's on the Amazing Stallion, or what was his name? Animar, which was the premier model from just this last year. If you want to see videos of that, we also have that because we both unopened ours, and not that long ago. He's a copper chestnut color, and they're made they have made 2,400 of him, and he is available to the VIP ticket holders and the all access ticket holders.
So only in person.
Yeah, so he would only be available to people that go to Kentucky for Breyerfest. And he is $65. Now, as far as I know, this is the only second model that they've done on this mold.
Mm-hmm. He was the last Premier Club model last year.
Last year.
This is the second release on this model.
The chestnut on this mold is striking. He's like a super red chestnut. He seems to be a trend to use the previous year's Premier Club models for Breyerfest, at least the last couple years. I normally like more markings on my models, but this color on this mold just really pops without needing more. Though his socks and blaze are cute. And he is on my list to get. What's your thoughts on him?
I like him too. I like chestnuts, and he's a really pretty color.
That red is really.
Mm-hmm. And I like the mold, so I definitely will be looking for him too.
Yeah, he's on my list, and I haven't really ironed out my for sure list yet, because it's still fairly early.
Right.
And it also depends on how many tickets I do end up getting. Right now I'm hoping for 4, but we'll see how it goes.
Right.
With the tickets being $90 a piece, so we'll see.
Right. A little more stretch this year.
Yeah. Alright, so the next one is Araba. And she is on the new Arabian mare, or Zafira. She is a black Sabino Pinto. They've made 2,400 of her, and she is available to the VIP tickets holders, all access, and the online traditional. So the online traditional, you have one, and you can make a preference list. Again, you're never guaranteed with anything unless you buy the VIP ticket. Those are the only ways that you are guaranteed your picks. But generally, it's not too hard to pick up the ones you want. At least in the last couple years, it hasn't been. So, and she's $65. Now, I really love this mold. I like Arabian molds anyways, but then I kind of fell in love with this mold in particular when I won the raffle model last year. And if I do explain about that in my Breyerfest haul video. So I actually have 2 on this mold, because she was the first release on the Premier Club last year, which was Zafira, and then I also have the raffle model, what's her name? Durndal? Durndal. Which is a gray Pinto, and she's really striking on both. So I really want this model. She is definitely on my list. When I first seen the picture of her, I've been watching a lot of fishing videos on YouTube, and she reminds me of a little Dalmatian Molly fish. And I love that she's got blue eyes. And yeah, I have to have her for my conga now. So that's my opinion. I really, really, really like her. What's your thoughts?
I like her too. I probably will be looking to pick her up. I like Pintos, and she's really pretty.
Yeah, she's just blue eyes really sell it for me. So she'll be my second Pinto. And actually, while Durndal's really cute, she's got big blotchy spots where this is a bunch of that's the Sabino pattern, right? Yeah, so I really like this. I almost like this pattern more than I like Durndal's, but I mean, they're 2 different ones, and I really like them. So I'm excited for her. All right, next one is Peanutine or Peanutine. We haven't really figured out which way is the correct way to pronounce it. This is on the Brighty mold. The color is a dark brown spotted. That's pretty much what Breyer called it. They're making 2,000, which that seems to be about the right number that they make for the
animal mold.
Yes, I would say non-equine, but donkeys are kind of equines, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a type of equine.
And this one is available to just the VIP and all access, so this is an in-person only one. And it is $60. This is our non-horse model. I almost wrote non-equine and then caught myself. This year, and he is so cute. I don't have a Bridie, so this guy is on my list. I like the spotted coat, and it's hard to tell for sure, but it looks like he still has the little cross on his back because it looks like it's coming over his shoulder.
All donkeys should.
So I think that's really cute. And I really like him. So yeah, he's definitely on my list to get. And generally the non-horse ones are a little bit easier, and I know not a lot of people, or not everybody, collects the non-horse ones. Bridie being a donkey could go either way for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people kind of expected either him or the mule, though the non-equine, they would still consider that one classics. I'm not sure if they would have used Brown Sunshine or the Balking Mule as the non-horse model. What do you think on that?
I mean, they could have.
I don't know if they would, though, because I would still consider those more... I don't know. It's hard to tell. Breyer does what they want.
Right. I mean, there's no reason they couldn't use them.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on Peanutine or Peanutine?
I think he's really cute. So I probably will be trying to pick him up.
Do you have one on the Bridie mold?
I have one of the original Bridies. That was my sister's. So I do have a Bridie. Old Bridie. So, but I like the paint job, and
he's just really cute.
Yeah,
just sitting there. He's just cute.
Yeah, I've always liked the spotted donkeys. So yeah, I think he's really cute.
Yes, and just as a side note, there are certain trends that Breyer follows for the Breyerfest models, and there is generally always a non-equine model. I don't know if that started with the original Breyerfest.
No.
But it kind of morphed into it so that they always have a one, and then they also tend to have a vintage model and a glossy matte split. And then in more recent years, they've been doing like a mane tail split, though they didn't really do that last year because everybody was speculating that it would be Rapunzel, and then they didn't, and I don't think they did a mane tail split last year. We did have Marzipan, which is a color split.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that was what they were going for.
Yeah. Yeah, the original Breyerfests, they did not have any of this.
Yeah.
You got the celebration model, and then you got a dinner. And they did not have any special runs or anything. That didn't happen until several years later. Because I missed a few years. I went for several years, missed a few years, and went back. And they were just starting the special runs, so there was only a few of them. And you had to go through the Breyer store to get them. And I was like, what is this? This wasn't here a few years ago. So
yeah, the event has definitely changed and morphed over the years, which I suppose it would. And it's probably gotten a lot... Well, could you imagine trying to do a dinner with how many people attend now?
Right.
I mean, it's huge.
And there were a lot of people back then. So now it would be...
really hard.
Yeah.
So we'll also talk about, whether it's the vintage molds or our speculation on which one is the glossy matte split, and if there's going to be a mane tail split on what we think. Alright, so the next one would be Surrey and Axel. Surrey is on the Lady Faye's molds, and Axel is on the stock horse foal. And these are the vintage models for this year, which was kind of strange. I never expected them to do the vintage models on a mare foal set. I'm not upset about it. The colors are a bay spot leopard and a bay blanket appy. They've made 2,300 of these, and they are available to the VIP, all access, and online traditional, and they are $70. And this will be the only set you get them together. And yeah, and I am in love with them. I'm a sucker for Appaloosas, and the Mayor coat in particular is so unique from other Breyer appies. The Lady Face seems to be a popular mold, so I think these two will be popular this year. I love the blanket appy, so these two are both on my list. Yeah, I really like her. I like how she's kind of fading out. I haven't seen another one look like that they've done an appy on.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, she's really unique, and these are the type of models that I expect from Breyerfest, where the paint job is something unique that you don't see in the more common ones. So I really, really appreciate this set. What's yours? I know you like the Lady Face mold. You're a big fan of that mold, so.
Yeah, I really like Lady Faye's. I like the Stock Horse Foal, and Appaloosas. So these two are definitely at the top of my list.
I mean, if I had one criticism, I wish they weren't bay.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I really, really, really like them. I do have molds on both of these. I've got like Truly Unsurpassed, and the Jolene that was the TSC special from last year. I have her, and then I think I have 2 or 3 of them, the Stock Horse Foal mold. I have 3 over there. So, yeah, I am a fan of this pair. Okay, moving on. The next one is, and I'm probably gonna butcher this name, Nemia.
That's my guess.
And this, oh yes, and then they tend to do a decorator model every year too. I didn't mention that earlier. And this is the decorator model. It is on the Akalteki mold. I wrote down the color as just decorator because it's kind of hard to describe. I will do my best. And it is 2,200 of them made, and available to the VIP and all access tickets, and they are $75 a piece. So the coloring is pretty much mostly black, and on his body he's kind of this golden orange, with a chariot scene across it. Now I will say, as far as decorators go, I'm not a big fan of them. I don't collect them. This guy is pretty neat looking. He's kind of got some banding going on his legs, and on his neck he's got like a banding kind of pattern going on. I like the Akalteki mold. And the chariot scene, I think it's perfect for what it is, and they did a really good job representing it on his side. He looks, I would say, stunning. I mean, it's a really good representation. Now he's got a red mane and a black tail, and I've actually seen a couple people say that they really like this one. He's not on my list just because I'm not a decorator collector. But if I were to buy one more ticket, I would probably pick him up. What's your thoughts?
I really like him. I'm not into every decorator. I like some of them. And this one, I really like. Just he looks Egyptian,
yes,
which really just intrigued me. And it looks really well done. I think with the chariot scene and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's the combination of that really golden orange on the black. Yeah. I mean, it's really striking.
And then the red mane, it's like, huh. So, I probably will try to pick him up.
Yeah, I'm glad he's kind of understated. Like, there could be some decorators out there that are like so decoratory. And I mean, he's definitely a decorator model.
Yeah.
But they've done a really good job. That time
I figured it was one of my dogs because I didn't
yeah, that was Singe. So, I mean, I'm not going to pick him up, but I don't hate it. So, what do you guys think of the decorator models? And what do you think of this one in particular? Like, let me know in the comments. Okay. Next one is Wells. And this is on the Shire Gelding. He is a silver dapple gray, or dapple black is what they call them on the site. And they made 2,300 of him. He's available to the VIP, all access, and online traditional ticket holders. And he's $70. This mold's popular. A lot of people like him. This is the same mold that the Yuletide Christmas horse was on, and that was a really hard one to find. So I think he's going to be one that a lot of people want just because this mold is so popular. And while he's nice looking, there's just nothing really that pops about him for me. He seems like, to me, it's just like a regular run type of paint job for me. I'm on the fence about whether or not I want to pick him up. Like, if it comes down to how many tickets I end up buying, he's on the cut floor. But I think it might sound a little harsh, but I almost think Breyer phoned it in on this one because he is a popular mold and they know people will buy him, which I also think is why they put him as an online ticket to let more people buy him because they know people will. That's kind of what I think about it. What are your thoughts?
He's cute. I like the mold.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't have anything against the mold.
Yeah.
I have a couple on this mold. But I have one with the short mane and tail. The other mane and tail version of this. That's gray. That's very similar.
That would be Benelli.
No, not Benelli.
But Benelli is on this mold.
Yes.
With the...
This is the one I'm talking about.
The actual Shire.
Yes, I mean, he's a lot lighter than this one, but, I mean, it's not too different. So it's like, and honestly, other than Cardinal, they're all in the same color family, because I got Benelli, which is that blue roan, and then I've got this one, which is the gray, and then I've got Cardinal, which is the chestnut. And then I also have the Yuletide, but I didn't take it out of the box.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, he's underwhelming for a Breyerfest model to me. In my opinion. Again, don't kill me in the comments. This is just my opinion.
Yeah. I'm on the fence about him, but he's cute. So, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, like I said, depends on how many tickets I end up getting. Yeah. So, alright, next horse up is Jump and Drive. I keep wanting to say Jive, but this is on the Bristol mold, which is a jumping one. He is a driver. River. Glossy City Buckskin. And I'm assuming he's got to be some sort of a paint, but they didn't call him.
Splash would be my guess.
They didn't mention that in any of the descriptions that I've seen of him.
A splash would be my thought.
They made 2,300 of him, and he's available to the VIP and all access ticket holders, and he is $65. Now, I love the paint job on this. I love the splash markings, if that's what we're calling it. I love that his tail's white. I especially love his offside here. I like that he has the blue eyes. I'm pretty sure he has blue eyes, right?
I believe so, yeah, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he does. I wrote it down. Yeah. The buckskin color is just so, since it's such a dark buckskin and then he's got all that white on him, it really pops. Just as much as Wells coloring doesn't pop. This one pops. Like, this is like the exact opposite. He's on my list. Now, the one thing I am not quite so over the moon about is that it's on the Bristol mold.
Mm-hmm.
While I don't have anything against jumping molds, they take up a lot of space. And then the stands, they wiggle. It's not a mold that I actively go out and collect. I will be getting this guy just because of his coloring. Like, they did a really good job on his coloring. And I know there are other collectors too that also don't like to get the ones that are either on stands or even just the jumping ones.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really, really, really like this guy. I seen somebody else speculating that this might be the main tail split, because he does have a
Possible
version where his mane is in the bobs or braids or whatever they call them.
Could also be the matte glossy split.
Could also be. But I haven't really seen another one. But then Breyer does strange things. Like, it's hard to predict what they're gonna do. Like, we've got 3 Premier Club models that we wouldn't think has a main tail split, but then they came out with a completely different mane for Rapunzel last year. And she actually has 3 manes now.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say. What are your thoughts on this guy?
The color's really nice. I also don't really collect jumpers that much. So we'll see what happens. This one's on the fence for me because of that. So we'll see what kind of tickets I end up getting as to whether I end up with this one or not. But I do like the color and markings.
They did a really good job on the coloring on this one. Like, good job, Breyer. You knocked it out of the park on this. And I actually think it was a good move on them if they were going to use this mold to do a striking color, because I think they know that people aren't necessarily as big a fan of ones on stands or even the jumping ones on stands. So they were smart. Smart Breyer.
They've had a lot of years to work on this. So.
Alright, so moving on to our next one, which this is the last one that we know what it is. And this is Scurry on the Fell Pony. It is a red bay Tabino Pinto. They made 2,400 of this one, and she is the mold. Is available to the VIP and all access ticket holders, and $60. I really like the Fell Pony with the lots of hair, and I like the Pinto pattern. Do I wish it wasn't bay? Yes. However, I was thinking on it. I'm not sure what other color I would prefer other than the bay. I guess with the bay, it does give the opportunity to do 3 colors on it, with the black, the white, and the bay red. So I mean, this is another one I'm on the fence about. It's kind of in the same vein as Wells for me. I mean, it's nice, but again, it doesn't really strike me as something that I have to have. So like I said, depending on how many tickets I get, this one and Wells are kind of evenly matched about which ones I would cut off the list if I had to. And then I don't know that they've done too many other ponies as special runs in previous years. It's not something I went back and looked, because it's hard to look up every single one for. I mean, that's a lot of research. I'm not saying that somebody somewhere hasn't done it.
I'm sure they have.
But I had not had the time to go on there and really search to see what they came out with. But I do think it's a little, like, in the years that we've gone, they have not done a pony as a special run. And then to still charge $60 for it it's kind of ouchy. Like, I think if they were going to use a pony, they should have knocked it down to maybe 55 or even 50. But again, they know that people will pay it. But it will be interesting to see. It's always interesting every year to see which ones end up being the popular molds, and then which ones people don't like as much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, generally the animal molds that are not horses are not as popular. The vintage models tend not to be as popular,
Right.
though with this one being Lady Phase, the vintage model being Lady Phase this year, I don't think that might not be the case this year.
There's a lot of people that collect lady face.
So, it's definitely going to be interesting this year to see which models end up being the popular ones.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on her?
Kind of like you. She's cute. I like the fell pony mold. And the color's not bad. Pattern is pretty. So we'll see. Like, it's another one I'm up in the air about. But yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah. This one may be able to be found on the secondhand market for not a terrible price after Breyerfest. So, if we wanted to pick her up secondhand, she might be a good one to pick up for a good price.
Yeah, it's yeah. And then it seems to me like I think the ones that Breyer anticipates them people going not on a whole list of here, because obviously I think any of the premier models from last year are going to go well this year.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they're new molds and people who didn't join the premier club, this will be the first opportunity they have to get them. So like the new Arabian Emir, they put her as an online purchase for traditional tickets, but they didn't Spios. So I don't know. It's hard for me to figure out whether they put the ones they think are going to be popular online or if they put the ones they don't think are going to be popular online.
Right.
Because I think in the last couple of years they've had way more left over than what they anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think giving the online community a chance to get some is a way for them to try to get through some of the stock they might not think is going to sell as well at Breyerfest.
Right.
And I haven't really seen anything on Breyerfest talking about how exactly they are splitting up online orders compared to in-person orders, but I suppose if we all have to make our lists again, that would easily tell them, the interest that they have in what horses.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to say. Okay, and then the last special run that we have is the Stagecoach Surprise, which is another thing that we didn't talk about that they do, which is the surprise model. Not every year that Breyerfest has been around, but for quite a few years now, they do a surprise model, which basically means we don't know what it is. And we won't know what it is until the first person goes to pick it up
and
at Breyerfest.
opens it.
Yes. Generally, they do 4 or 5, possibly 6 different colors on the same mold.
Mm-hmm.
And generally, they're pretty neat looking paint jobs. I mean, they do a really good job. Like I said, the champagne model I got the one year, I wasn't too impressed with it. Seems like they have at least 2 or 3 that are really awesome. They have 2 that are kind of in the middle. And then they have one that's just kind of like the one nobody wants.
So a lot of times they do a bay, a gray, a chestnut, black, some combination of those. And then a lot of times there's a paint, a lot of times there's an Appaloosa, and then a lot of times there's a decorator. Yes. So like I said, sometimes 4, 5, 6 different colorways on that model. And it just depends on the year as to whether they split them evenly or not, and how many color variations they do.
Yes. Other channels do a better breakdown of this. We're not that in depth. And like last year, the theme was a rotating draft, and so a lot of people speculated that it was a draft, and so did we. And last year, I actually threw out that it might be Oliver in the video, which I don't even remember doing. But one of our commenters was like, "Hey, you picked it." I'm like, "Oh, I guess I did." And I don't have any theories on how they do it. Like the rotating draft, we thought draft because of the name.
Yes.
So, yeah, we just threw out some guesses. And that's pretty much what we're going to do this time. We're going to throw out some guesses. Now, this theme is really hard with the models that they have to guess. Now, there's a few that I think would fit the theme better, but they're mostly vintage. So, like, Stagecoach to me would be running. So I thought maybe Smarty Jones, but they've already used that as a special run, so I don't think they would use that one. What was the other one we said? Ruffian. Which he's a possibility.
Possible.
It's
been used as a gambler's choice, but not as a surprise model.
So, I mean, that's a possibility. Now, all these guesses that we're throwing out are not likely. At least we don't think they're likely.
Right.
So, if one of these random ones happens to be it, I'm going to be really surprised. Brown Sunshine, I thought might be a contender. But that's a vintage one.
Right. And since they already have the donkey,
yeah, it's
probably drops the likelihood some.
Now the Frisian Sport Horse, I think has a chance, but they've done a lot of draft breeds already, so I don't think that one's as likely. It is a possibility, I do think. I mean, even though it is a drafter breed, the mold itself is not huge.
No. So
I mean, it's possible. Again, we can come up with reasons why we think it's not possible too. Pacer, the old Pacer, but again, that was a really vintage one, so I really don't think they'll use that one.
And not very popular, so people would be really upset if they did.
Yeah, I really wish they had used this one, and maybe they will use it as a raffle model or
prize model or something.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So it's. I mean, considering the theme, it would be kind of a waste if they didn't use them, and I'd really like to see an updated paint job on them, because the only one I have on that mold is really old.
No? Or are you still talking about the Pacer?
The old Pacer, yeah.
Okay. Alright, never mind then.
I was gonna say.
I thought you'd moved on.
No.
Okay.
Okay, now the next one I have is the Old Timer, which again is a vintage mold, but they have used that one for newer things lately, so, I mean, he is a possibility. I think it's unlikely.
Yeah.
Because it's a vintage mold.
Right.
But, checking that your dog's still alive or what?
I'm wondering why he's sniffing the floor. You're weird.
Yeah. Now, we were discussing it earlier today, and one I didn't write down, but we both think might be actually a pretty decent contender.
My dogs are knocking over.
Yeah, I know, you do it all the time.
That was extra cinch.
Oh. One that we think that might be a pretty good contender, because it's a popular mold, and they have not used it. I don't think they used it at all last year.
I think so.
So I think that it's a good contender. What is that mold called?
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Or the Racking Saddlebred.
Yes. I think that he is a...
Yeah, I think the last one they did was Mark a Charm. That was a regular run.
Yeah.
Was that last year? It may have been last year.
Yeah.
Even the year before.
But he seems to be a very popular mold. And I don't like it. I don't like that mold hardly at all. So that is another good reason why it might be that one, because I have crap luck like that.
Not a big fan of that mold either hate it, but it's not something I tend to collect a lot of. So
it's tippy. Yeah, I have to use my racks to keep them up. It's a really stiff mold. It's about all the things I don't like about the molds. The tail looks funky to me. Like I don't like it. I have 2 on the mold. I have the 70th anniversary model, and then I got what's the name of that? It was a web special. Yeah, the web special that came out on that mold. The really dark gray.
Yeah, I can't think of his name right now.
I know, I'm drawing a blank. But anyways, I have a pretty good feeling that it could be him.
It's possible. In which case, Rachel may be selling her Stage of Prizes.
I'd probably still keep it, but
not very happy about
yes. But yes, I just, like I said, no theory behind this other than that it hasn't been used and it's a popular mold. And it's one I don't like, so there's a good chance that it will be.
What if they did the Foundation Stallion?
Now, see, that is my last guess, and just because I want it to be the Foundation Stallion, I will probably throw that in every guess every year until it happens.
Very vintage mold, so probably will never happen.
But I want it so much. That's my favorite mold, is the Foundation Stallion.
So Farlap was a good guess too. It probably is another vintage mold that soup is not super popular, so probably never would be used. But not a bad guess for a possibility in running. So if it's theme, but Breyer doesn't generally hold to the theme.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they do what they want.
It's hard to say. Like I said, these were all just guesses that we're throwing out. No rhyme or reason to it. And for every good reason we can think that it might be that, we can also think of reasons that it wouldn't be that. So this year in particular, I really don't have a clue what it could be other than the racking saddlebred.
I wouldn't be upset if it was Zippo Pine Bar either. It probably would never happen. Zippo Pine Bar is not super popular, even though it's not a vintage model, but it probably wouldn't be used. I'd be alright with the Action Stock Horse Stallion too, but you know, we're getting into all these vintage molds that Breyer most likely would never use.
Yeah. So it's something else. But yeah, comment below if you guys have any guesses on what you think it'll be, and your reasons why, or your reasons why our guesses are completely full of crap.
Anybody's guess is as good as anybody else's.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think we're gonna leave the video there for now. Hopefully in the next video, I think we're gonna stop filming for now because my voice is getting really dry. And it's cold out here. Yes. So we will hopefully come back and film our opinions on the rest of the Breyerfest model, which would be the stablemate pack, the crystal, the limited editions, and if in the meantime there's any information you guys want to know about Breyerfest, put it in the comments below, and we'll try to answer any questions that we can. We've been going pretty steadily since 2018? 17. So, I've
been several times before that. My first Breyerfest was in the 90s. So
yeah, we will try to answer any questions that you might have. And if there's any kind of videos you want us to do relating to Breyerfest, leading up to Breyerfest, put it in the comments. We'll see what we can do. But yeah, so yeah, I think we're gonna leave it there for today. So we'll see you in the next one. Bye.